This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, former Ukrainian Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov called for the return of democratic elections and stronger anti-corruption measures as protesters in Kyiv demand greater transparency from President Vladimir Zelensky's administration. The United States has sanctioned International Criminal Court President Tomoko Akane and a senior trial lawyer, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying Washington will bar the officials from entering the U.S. and restrict their access to the American financial system. The European Commission reiterated that migrants staying illegally in Ceuta will not be transferred to mainland Spain and must instead be returned to Morocco following July's mass border surges. Singapore's strict anti-corruption campaign continues to support its economic growth, with the city-state ranking among the world's least corrupt countries and leading the Asia-Pacific region in transparency. Back home, the U.S. Embassy in Manila and the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development launched a community reporting center to combat illegal fishing in the West Philippine Sea, drawing a warning from Beijing that such cooperation must not target third parties. Bureau of Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno relieved and preventively suspended a port official following a deadly shooting at Ateneo de Zamboanga University Junior High School, as authorities investigate how the official's son accessed a BOC-issued firearm used in the incident. And in showbiz, Madonna received 11 VMA nominations 4 decades after her debut performance at the awards, extending her record as the most nominated artist in VMA history. I am Paul Montemon. Newsline World starts now. Former Ukrainian Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov has called for a return to democratic elections and stronger anti-corruption measures following his dismissal, as protesters in Kyiv demand greater transparency from the government. Verhil Parba has the updates from Kyiv.
Former Ukrainian Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov is calling on the government to restore public trust and create a legal framework for holding elections, despite the challenges posed by the ongoing war. He says Ukraine's long-term resilience depends on transparency, stronger oversight against corruption, and a functioning democratic process.
Вибори – це не лише бюлетень. Це момент, коли влада знову приходить до громадянина і говорить: ось ми це зробили, тепер ви вирішуєте, чи довіряєте нам далі. І саме цей принцип відрізняє демократичну державу від системи, де влада сама вирішує, коли суспільство може її оцінювати. Ми не повинні дозволити Путіну вирішувати, коли українцям можна обирати свою владу. Українська демократія не повинна залежати від доброї волі Кремля.
The remarks came as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky nominated acting defense minister Yevhen Kamara to permanently succeed Fedorov. Meanwhile, demonstrators gathered in central Kiev, holding placards and chanting anti-corruption slogans as they called for greater transparency over the leadership changes.
Продовжуємо збиратись, бо ми так і не отримали питання, чому у нас досі немає Федорова.
Також ми виступаємо за більш чітку комунікацію, тому що причини останніх рішень, ось цих, які викликали конфлікти і протести, не були прокомуніковані нормально, і ми дізнаємося.
The demonstrations reflect growing calls for transparency and accountability as Ukraine continues to navigate wartime political challenges. This has been Verhil Parba, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
European Commission is drawing a firm line on illegal border crossings into Spain's North African enclave. Brussels reiterated that individuals remaining illegally in Ceuta will not be transferred to mainland Spain and must instead be returned to Morocco following July's mass border crossings. Faith Agustin has the updates.
European Commission spokesperson Marcus Lamert said in Brussels that individuals staying illegally in Ceuta are expected to be returned under existing EU rules. He confirmed the bloc is deploying financial and technical support to Spanish and Moroccan authorities to tighten border controls, disrupt smuggling operations, and accelerate deportations.
The priority is now for the Spanish and for the Moroccan authorities to maintain control of the situation and to ensure the swift return of all those who illegally remain in Ceuta. No one who is staying illegally in Ceuta will be transferred to mainland Spain. We continue to stress that the expectation is that all those who remain in Ceuta illegally will be returned.
Brussels welcomes Spain's decision to expand its emergency reception facilities. EU officials note that Morocco is prepared to accept the returnees, including unaccompanied minors, under strict legal protocols. Meanwhile, the EU is working with online platforms to disrupt migrant smuggling network and counter disinformation linked to illegal crossings.
An important element in prevention and deterrence, and that's something I really want to underline, is that the Commission's work with the platforms and fact-checkers to counter criminal networks spreading disinformation and to strengthen the fight against migrant smuggling. And on the latter, several accounts linked to the smuggling have been closed.
With regional deployment forces from Frontex, Europol, and European asylum agencies currently placed on standby, Brussels maintains that securing external borders remains its absolute priority. This has been Faith Agustin, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Singapore's strong campaign against corruption remains a driving force behind its economic growth, according to government reports and international watchdog organizations. The country remains one of the lowest corruption levels globally and leads the Asia-Pacific region. Prince Tripoli tells us more.
Led by the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau, or CPIB, Singapore strictly enforces its zero-tolerance policy against corruption. The CPIB holds authority to investigate anyone suspected of corrupt acts, including government officials and private individuals. According to the CPIB, the agency thoroughly screened complaints, with only 6 to 8 corruption cases officially registered and investigated in 2025, the lowest number in the country's history. The Bureau also maintained a high conviction rate of over 91% for cases brought to court, reflecting effective law enforcement and strict accountability. This governance model continues to reinforce foreign investor confidence in Singapore. According to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the country's economy grew by 4.8% in 2025, driven by manufacturing, financial services, and the technology sector, particularly rising demand for AI and semiconductor products. Experts note that low corruption levels streamline business operations, reduce red tape, and ensure public funds go toward infrastructure, education, and essential public services. In research on Asian governance, academic Dr. John Kua noted that eliminating bribery removes hidden transaction costs, speeding up business processes, and cutting bureaucratical delays. Meanwhile, Singapore continues to earn international recognition for clean governance. In the latest Transparency International Corruption Perceptions Index, Singapore ranked 3rd worldwide and led the Asia-Pacific region as one of the least corruption nations. Economists emphasize that transparency and good governance from the foundation of foreign investor trust in Singapore, paving the way for job creation and business expansion. Overall, Singapore demonstrates that combining a resilient economy, strict law enforcement, and an active anti-corruption campaign can drive sustainable growth and international confidence. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Prince Tripoli, SMNA News.
An Air China cargo flight carrying 80 tons of humanitarian supplies has arrived in Bogota. It marks Beijing's first major emergency shipment to Colombia following a devastating 7.4 magnitude earthquake. Berhil Parvat tells us more.
An Air China cargo aircraft touched down El Dorado International Airport carrying relief supplies ordered after the August 10th quake. The 80-ton shipment includes nearly 2,000 tents, 7,000 blankets, water purification plants, solar lamps, and diesel generators for stricken communities.
Tenemos el placer de recibir aquí en Bogotá, en el aeropuerto El Dorado, un avión charter que trae la asistencia humanitaria viene de China, pues es la muestra de la amistad, de la solidaridad del pueblo chino hacia el pueblo colombiano.
Chinese Ambassador Zhu Jingyang says the supplies will be sent directly to Valle del Cauca to be distributed by local authorities. The death toll from the disaster has risen to 304, with more than 4,500 people injured. International aid continues to arrive from several countries to support the response.
Las autoridades competentes pasará al departamento de Valle de Cauca. Será repartido allí entre los afectados por el terremoto junto con la autoridad de la gobernación de Valle de Cauca, colombianas.
Relief teams continue to coordinate air and ground deliveries. They are prioritizing emergency shelter, power generators, and water filtration systems for the hardest hit communities. This has been Verhil Parva, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa was received by Chinese President Xi Jinping at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing, securing $43 million in cooperation resources and signing 5 bilateral agreements across renewable energy, trade, and technology. Joy Tabanao has the news.
Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa received full military honors at Beijing's Great Hall of the People on Tuesday during an official state visit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Their talks produced agreements on renewable energy, digital technology, trade, and $43 million in direct aid for priority social development projects. The two leaders also agreed to expand cooperation on solar energy, using Chinese technology to boost Ecuador's renewable power capacity and improve grid efficiency. Beijing also offered medical equipment, emergency supplies, and an AI-powered weather system to strengthen Ecuador's disaster preparedness ahead of potential El Niño impacts. Following the talks, Chinese and Ecuadorian officials signed 5 bilateral cooperation agreements covering technology, green development, trade, and media cooperation. This has been Joy Tabanao, your Global Citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
The United States has imposed sanctions on International Criminal Court President Tomoko Akane of Japan and a senior trial lawyer of Senegal. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced that barring the officials from entering the U.S. and restricting their access to the American financial system as part of Washington's campaign against the court. This report from Angie De Leon.
Tensions between Washington and the International Criminal Court, or ICC, have escalated following the new economic and travel restrictions against top court officials. The United States on Tuesday imposed sanctions against ICC President Tomoko Akane of Japan. To recall, in late July, Akane asked Japan for assistance to counter U.S. pressure and encourage other Asian nations to remain in the court. According to Akane, Japan is a very strong member country and requested its help in urging Asian nations not to leave the organization. Meanwhile, aside from Akane, Washington also slapped sanctions on ICC senior trial lawyer Abdoulaye Seye of Senegal. According to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Akane and Seye are individuals who have directly engaged in efforts by the ICC to investigate, arrest, detain, or prosecute officials whose government has not consented to ICC jurisdiction. The measures officially bar the officials from entering the U.S. and restrict them from conducting transactions within the U.S. financial system. Rubio called the Hague-based body a corrupt and fatally politicized supranational court that has maliciously abused its authority, adding that the Trump administration will not tolerate an assault on state sovereignty. The ICC responded quickly to the newly designated financial and travel restrictions, saying the U.S. sanctions undermine the rule of law. The restrictions follow ongoing ICC investigations targeting Israel, including a 2024 arrest warrant issued for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the war in Gaza. Washington launched a diplomatic offensive last month, calling on partner nations to leave the tribunal. The diplomatic pressure led Chad and Venezuela to announce their official withdrawals from the ICC. Angie De Leon, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Up next, the U.S. Embassy in Manila and the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development launched a community reporting center to combat illegal fishing in the West Philippine Sea, drawing a warning from Beijing that such cooperation must not target third parties. Bureau of Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno relieved and preventively suspended a port official following a deadly shooting at Ateneo de Zamboanga University Junior High School as authorities investigate how the official's son accessed a BOC-issued firearm used in the incident. More news after the break.
Taon-taon, kwento sa bawat kwento, katotohanan sa bawat katotohanan. Mula pa sa pasimula, malinaw ang aming misyon. Magbigay ng tamang impormasyon, maglantad ng katotohanan, manindigan sa lahat ng oras, lalo na't kinakailangan. Hindi lang minsang kinilala, kundi muli at muli. Sa likod ng bawat pagkilala ay katotohanang naibahagi. Isang tinig na narinig. Isang katotohanang umabot sa bawat Pilipino. Sa kabila ng nagbabagong panahon, sa kabila ng mga pagsubok, nananatili ang aming paninindigan. Ang pundasyon namin ay katotohanan. Ang lakas namin ay tiwala ng mamamayang Pilipino sa loob at labas ng bansa. Maraming salamat po. SMNI, para sa Diyos at sa Pilipinas nating mahal.
The Senate has strongly condemned the tragic shooting incident inside the campus of Ateneo de Zamboanga High School in Zamboanga City that claimed multiple lives. Sheena Torno reports.
Successive gunshots echoed inside the Ateneo de Zamboanga University Junior High School building in Barangay Tumaga, Zamboanga City on Tuesday. Based on reports from the City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, 2 individuals were confirmed dead, while another was injured in the incident. Among the deceased was a grade 7 student identified as the suspect, who was later revealed to be the child of a Bureau of Customs Enforcement Security Service commander in Zamboanga. Meanwhile, 21 students reportedly experienced panic attacks and anxiety due to the traumatic event.
We recognize that this incident could cause a lot of deep concern and worry for our parents, families, the guardians, for the students, their loved ones who you've entrusted to us. And we're deeply saddened by Kai's incident. we will remain cooperative with our government officials and with the police. We owe ourselves, obviously, to accountability when it comes to these laws.
Meanwhile, Satters expressed strong condemnation over the shooting inside the private school campus in Zamboanga City. In a official statement, Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian called for a thorough investigation into the matter. Gatchalian also appealed to the Department of Education and the Zamboanga local government to provide immediate psychosocial support to all affected students and school personnel. He stressed that authorities must determine how two firearms were brought into the school and where they were obtained. For his part, Senator Robin Padilla called for urgent legislative action and a review of laws concerning youth and social media usage. Padilla noted that violent online content can negatively impact youth behavior.
Napakapangit na po nitong nangyayari na ito. Kailangan po natin maisulong ang batas na kung ano po yung ginagawa doon sa ibang bansa, na mga progresibong bansa na kanila na pong pinagbabawalan ng kabataan na gumamit ng social media. Sapagkat ito po'y hindi na nakapagbibigay ng tamang pag-iisip, hindi na nakakapagbigay ng tamang halimbawa, at nagagamit pa po para maging daan upang yung kanilang mga iniisip na karahasan sa kanilang mga nais nilang gawin, ay nagagawa nila. Sapagkat nagkakaroon po sila ng tinatawag na platform. At iyan po ang social media.
Senator Bam Aquino asserted that every measure must be taken to ensure such a tragedy never happens again. Meanwhile, Senator Mark Villar emphasized the critical need to identify security threats in schools early to strengthen campus safety and protect everyone. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
Bureau of Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno has immediately relieved from his post the father of the student involved in the shooting incident at the Ateneo de Zamboanga University Junior High School. According to Nepomuceno, the suspect's father serves as a commander in the BOC Enforcement and Security Service, which oversees the Customs Police. He emphasized that relieving the official immediately was necessary to ensure an impartial investigation into the incident. Authorities are currently investigating whether the firearm used in the shooting belonged to the official.
Kailangan kagad natin tanggalin yung ama nung namaril na naiulat kanina sa nangyari sa Zamboanga upang magkaroon tayo ng tamang investigasyon, ibig sabihin impartial investigation, upang malaman natin kung nagkaroon ng posibleng kapabayaan kung bakit nagkaroon ng baril yung bata na yun na baril. Bukod dyan, syempre hindi rin naman makakapagtrabaho na talaga ng tama yung ama dahil malaking trahedya din yan sa kanya. Nalulungkot tayo sa nangyari, lalo na sa pamilya ng biktima, yung tinatawag na untimely death, yung mga nabaril, ano?
The United States Embassy in Manila and the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development have launched a community reporting center to combat illegal fishing in the West Philippine Sea, drawing warnings from Beijing that such cooperation must not target third parties. Almar Forzuelo tells us more.
The U.S. Embassy in the Philippines, through the USAID Fish Right Project, partnered with the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development to launch a community reporting center in Puerto Princesa City focused on illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. The facility uses Starlink connectivity and Earth Ranger software to collect real-time reports from local fishermen on illegal fishing, unusual vessel activity, and other maritime threats across the West Philippine Sea. Supported by Philippine Fisheries and Maritime Agencies, the center links reports from coastal communities with enforcement authorities to protect marine resources and local livelihoods. China responded to the launch, warning that U.S.-Philippines maritime cooperation should not target or harm third parties.
我们注意到了有关报道，将密切关注有关情况。中方一贯认为，国与国之间开展交流合作， 应当有助于增进地区国家间的相互理解与信任，有利于促进地区的和平稳定。我们不反对美菲开展正常合作，但有关合作不应针对第三方或损害第三方的利益。
Manila and Washington maintain that the center will strengthen maritime security and protect coastal livelihoods, while Beijing says it will continue monitoring regional developments. Reporter for Newsline World Almar Forsualo, SMNA News.
In the Philippines, an illegal online gambling operation reportedly earning millions of pesos daily was busted by authorities in Silang, Cavite, leading to the arrest of 7 suspects. Prince Tripoli for the detail.
7 individuals were arrested by the National Bureau of Investigation, National Capital Region or NBI-NCR during an operation against illegal online gambling in Silang, Cavite. The NBI-NCR monitored the activity for over 3 months before raiding a residential house that had been converted into an illegal online gambling hub.
Every day, kumikita sila ng millions dyan. So, ang nakabahala dyan, itong mga bata, sanay na kumita ng malaking pera.
Around 15 computers were confiscated at the scene, which were allegedly being used for online cockfighting or isabong and other forms of illegal online gambling. According to the NBI-NCR, operators were manipulating the game results, leaving bettors with virtually no chance of winning.
Tapos tataya ka, makikita nila kung ilan yung taya, kung magkano, at namamanipulate nila yung result.
Most of those arrested were young adults aged 18 to 24. Meanwhile, the NBI-NCR is actively investigating the alleged syndicate behind the operation.
Sindikato talaga to, kasi concerted ang effort nito eh.
According to the agency, there are 5 masterminds who remain at large, including siblings and cousins. The NBI-NCR is also looking into the group's possible connections to former Pogo personnel.
Nung pinagbawal na entirely yung Pogo, bawal na siya. Galing sila ron, nagsarili na sila, natuto na.
Sa mga dating tauhan ng Pogo?
Yes, mga dating Pogo. Nagtayo na sila ng sarili.
Charges of illegal gambling under Presidential Decree 1602 in relation to Republic Act 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act have been filed against the 7 arrested suspects. The NBI-NCR continues its follow-up investigation to crack down and arrest the alleged masterminds behind the operation.
At marami pa to, no? Nagsasanga-sanga to kaya dapat talaga tuloy-tuloy.
Cyber patrolling, sir.
Oh, cyber patrolling.
Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Prince Tripoli, SMNA News.
Up next, Madonna received 11 VMA nominations 4 decades after her debut performance at the awards, extending her records as the most nominated artist in VMA history. More news when Newsline World returns.
Sa bawat panahon ng krisis, may mga tinig na patuloy na nagtatanong. Hindi para sirain ang pamahalaan, kundi para panagutin ito.
That the President's role is to defend press freedom and not lead in destroying it or demeaning its practitioners.
Mga salitang minsang nagbigay pag-asa sa malayang pamamahayag.
It is my duty for which I ask no special favor, but only fairness, which every citizen, be he the leader of the land or a tiller of the soil, deserves from the fourth estate.
Sapagkat ang media ay hindi kaaway ng gobyerno, ito ay bantay ng bayan.
Unlike many of my predecessors, I do not seek collaboration, for that implies a surrender of your independence.
Ang tunay na malayang media, hindi sunod-sunuran, hindi tahimik, hindi takot.
I am of the opinion that national interest is better served by a press that is critical rather than a press that is cooperative.
Dahil sa isang demokrasya, ang mapanuring media ay hindi hadlang sa pamahalaan. Ito ang nagpapatibay dito.
It must have the untrammeled freedom to do its work, not just to arm the citizenry with the truth, but also to deepen discernment in this age of mass disinformation.
Sa panahon ng disinformation, mas mahalaga ang katotohanan, mas mahalaga ang malayang pamamahayag.
The principal role of the press is not to applaud those who cover, but you hold us accountable without holding back and giving praise to those who deserve it and providing criticism for those who deserve that.
Ang kritikal na media ay hindi kalaban ng gobyerno. Ito ay haligi ng demokrasya. Panindigan natin ang kalayaan sa pamamahayag. Ang katotohanan ay hindi dapat katakutan. Sa isang tunay na demokrasya, ang malayang pamamahayag ay hindi dapat pinatatahimik. Ito ay pinakikinggan. Ang kritikal na media ay hindi kalaban ng gobyerno. Ito ay haligi ng demokrasya. Panindigan natin ang kalayaan sa pamamahayag. Para sa Diyos at Pilipinas nating mahal, kasama nyo ang SMNI sa panatang ito.
Sa bawat araw, sa bawat sandali, kami ay SMNI.
Ang aming uniforme ay hindi lamang tela. Ito'y sagisag ng aming paninindigan.
Ipinagmamalaki natin ang ating bansa at ang ating pagiging Pilipino.
Pinagsama ng nagkakaisang layunin, ating isinusulong ang revolusyon sa media.
Ang templong tahanan ng Diyos at ang sinag, ang instrumento ng katotohanan, at liwanag na nagmumula sa iisang may likha.
Pula, ang pag-ibig na nananalaytay sa ating mga ugat. Ang dugo ng bawat bayaning Pilipino na nagbuwis buhay para sa ilang bayan.
Itim ang kapangyarihan ng bansa at soberanya na tanging sa mamamayan lamang.
Ang bawat Pilipinong handang ipagtanggol ang kalayaan at katarungan.
Puti, ang kapayapaan at pag-asa. Taglay ang katapatan sa lupang sinilangan.
Kami ang SMNI. Salamat sa inyong walang sawang pagtitiwala at pagpanig sa katotohanan.
Four decades after redefining live television at the inaugural ceremony, the Queen of Pop proves her dominance once again, snagging 11 nominations ahead of the upcoming Video Music Awards. Meanwhile, a low-budget animated film mocked online for its confusing plot and atrocious graphics has defied all expectations, turning internet ridicule into millions in ticket sales. Here's Faith Agustin for the Show Buzz.
The Queen of Pop is back on top. 4 decades after establishing the VMAs as a pop culture staple, Madonna leads this year's Video Music Awards with 11 nominations. Her haul includes major nods for Artist of the Year and Video of the Year for Confessions to the Film, putting her ahead of Taylor Swift's 9 nominations. Swift will directly compete with Madonna for Video of the Year with her hit single The Fate of Ophelia from her album The Life of a Showgirl. Madonna enters the race with 20 lifetime VMAs under her belt, while Swift currently boasts 30, tying her with Beyoncé for the most wins in show history. Other major pop stars are close behind, with both Ariana Grande and Sabrina Carpenter securing 7 nominations each. Fans can now vote online across 13 categories, ahead of the live broadcast set for September 27 on CBS, MTV, and Paramount+. Meanwhile, the low-budget Chinese animated film Newsline, which means the bull is coming in Chinese, has transformed from a total flop into a viral box office sensation despite its terrible graphics and confusing plot. After earning just 7,705 yuan or $1,070 in its first 10 days, viral social media clips propelled its ticket sales past 11.4 million yuan or $1.2 million, allowing it to compete with major Hollywood blockbusters. Audiences have embraced the movie's crude animation as pure handmade craftsmanship, treating its flaws as a refreshing anti-AI cultural statement. Superstitious stock market investors are also buying tickets, hoping the movie's title, which shares a Chinese character with a bullish market, will bring financial good luck. This bizarre film was reportedly made over 5 years by Xin Yumeng and his mother Sun Li Fan. The sudden surge in popularity caught cinemas off guard, prompting staff to draw their own promotional posters to meet unprecedented viewer demand. However, others have criticized the trend, warning that screening such low-quality films lowers industry standard and risks losing audience trust. This has been Faye Agustin, your Global Citizen correspondent, bringing you the latest show buzz.
In sports, Alex Ayala is on track to make more history at the U.S. Open as she is set to become the highest-seeded Filipino singles player in a Grand Slam. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich midfielder Jamal Musiala has been diagnosed with a neurological disorder after collapsing during a match for the second time in 4 days. Carlo Della Peña tells us more.
Filipino tennis star Alex Ayala is currently projected to rise to a career-high world number 18 after reaching the third round of the Cincinnati Open. Even if she remains at number 20 or drops a few spots in the official rankings, Ayala will still surpass her previous best of number 29 seed at Wimbledon last month. That Wimbledon campaign also made Ayala the best Filipino singles player to be seeded at a Grand Slam and the first to reach the tournament's 4th round. With the US Open seeding set to be announced on August 24th, Ayala is poised to add another first to her growing list of milestones. Meanwhile, Jamal Musiala said the diagnosis came after he collapsed during Bayern Munich's friendly win over Heidenheim. The 23-year-old had also collapsed during Bayern's friendly against RB Leipzig 4 days earlier, prompting further medical checks. Musiala said doctors have ruled out any further health risks. He had previously missed 6 months last season after suffering an ankle fracture. The Germany international has since returned to action and represented his country at the 2026 World Cup. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo De La Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. Strengthen your freedom of choice to follow His will, and then you will have spiritual liberty. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I am Paul Montemon. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.